All right, so good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? I'm hoping that all of you are in well conditions, and I would like to say sorry because I cannot attend the class for today. As you know that I have already told you in the group about the reason why. Those for the practical, yeah, for the practice of our last discussions about registration officer practice. It's going to be conducted next week, probably. Yeah, it depends. All right. So for now, I would like to continue our discussion first, which is going to be a liaison officers. And this is also one of the important points that you need to understand about, especially on the expressions or language expressions used if you are gathering some interest in taking the MICE field or joining any event organizers um, team, yeah, during for your internships or maybe for your focus in the future. All right, so talking about liaison officers, I believe some of you have already had the experience of becoming a liaison officer. So therefore, maybe it is going to be not new for you, but for some of you who is not having quite good experience or long experience, it's going to be something new for you. All right. So first of all, there are three main points that you need to point out or you need to highlight when you are becoming a liaison officers. First, you need to build and maintain mutually beneficial relationships with the candidates, the participants, or the delegates that you are being officers with. And because if you are not having a good um, relationships with them, it's going to be hard to coordinate of or having coordinations toward the event. So it is very important for you to have a good communication skills and also to understand about your main duty and also to master the whole schedule, the whole venue of the event. So therefore, it is also your biggest duty as to facilitate the communications between you as the liaison officers and also the committee and also the delegates or the participants. So you are become a bridge for their communications. Yeah. For example, if you are becoming a liaison officers for one country or representative of a country in international seminar or international summit, for example, so you are bridging the informations that are given by the committee to the delegates and you are become the messenger. So you need to be able to communicate, you need to be able to transfer the knowledge, transfer the information so that there will be no misinformations or no misunderstandings among the delegates or the participants. So these three main duties are going to be related with what we are going to discuss next. So first, as a liaison officer, it is going to be basically you need to pick up the delegations at the airport. So picking up the delegation at the airport, of course, you need to have a good cooperative work with the committee, especially for the usher or the transportation divisions, because you are going to have a good coordinations between the driver, between the transportation usher, so you can also arrange the schedule, especially because you need to communicate with the delegates or the participants talking about their arrival, for example, arrival schedule or departure schedule, so that you are going to arrange everything and you are not going to need to wait long in the airport. Okay, what do we have next? Yeah. First, dealing with picking up the delegations at the airport, first you need to have or bring before going to the airport. First, you need to acknowledge yourself, you need to understand, you need to comprehend about the flight details, especially the information related to the airlines, arrival, yeah, arrival hall, flight number, and also arrival time. It is very important because sometimes especially the delegates who are coming from outside of Indonesia or foreign country, some of their pride may also come to Jakarta first for transit or transfer, and then from Jakarta they fly to Bali. Meanwhile, in some other countries, there are some flights directly go to Bali. So therefore, It is very important for you to understand about the airlines and also the arrival hall, so that you are not going to confuse because you think that you handle international participants, you handle international delegates. However, if you don't know the arrival hall, you think that you need to wait in the international terminal. However, they arrive in domestic terminal. So therefore, it is very important for you to notice and also to take a note, especially on the arrival hall. Yeah. And also, it is going to be better if you can get the flight numbers so that you can check regularly about their flight, whether they are delayed, whether they are cancelled, or whether they are scheduled to another flight time, for example. And thinking about the arrival time, it is very important to notice as well, because if you are dealing with international delegates, especially if they are arriving in the international terminal, so they need to have some check, yeah, for example, like visa check and then also custom declaration checks. Therefore, it is going to take a longer time rather than those the participant who arrives in the domestic arrival. So when you are dealing with the participants or delegates that arrive in the international arrival, you need to spare the time around an hour from their arrival time. So if they arrive around 1, so you can come to the airport at 2. It is still safe because there are going to be a long queue inside, and there are going to be a long duty that need to be done by the delegates about especially dealing with the immigrations. Meanwhile, if you are dealing with the participants or delegates who arrive in the domestic terminal, so you only have 15 minutes spare time to pick them up. For example, if they arrive at a 1:15, for example, so you need to be there before 1:30. So you only have only 15 minutes to prepare yourself to arrive and also to, showing some sign page or maybe boarding page in front of them. Yeah. Next, you need also to acknowledge about the delegates' informations, especially if it is a representative or delegation from a country. So you need to have the number of people and also the name list, especially. So make sure that you don't miss any participants or miss any delegates that are going to be in the group. For example, if they are coming from Australia and there are going to be 5 delegates coming from Australia, so you need to check their flight, you need to check their names and make sure that you have already taken those 5 delegates so that nobody's going to be left behind at the airport. Next, the third thing that you need to bring is the signboard. It is very important because if you are arriving at the arrival hall, especially in international terminal, there are going to be a lot of people are bringing their sign page, calling names. So therefore, you need to bring your own sign page or signboard with the name of delegates or the name of the event, so that the delegations or the participants can easily recognize you. It will help you a lot. So you don't need to shout, you don't need to scream about their names. Just show your sign page or signboard. They will approach you. It is very important for you to do so. And the last one is contact number of the driver. It is very important because if you are going to pick them at the airport and deliver or send them to the hotel, how can you do it without having the contact number of the driver? So therefore, having the contact number of the driver will ensure that the communications and also the transfer from the airport to the hotel will smoothly well and also will have seamless transition. So it's going to be easy for you, especially if you are going to be looked as the forward as a professional liaison officer, for example. At least they only need to wait around 5 minutes before the car or the shuttle arrive. And it is very important for you to have a good communication with the driver, especially because if you don't have well maintained or well attitude with the driver, maybe there are something wrong behind and they are not going to be responsible with you. All right, coming up next. So when you are picking up the delegates or the participants at the airport, so please make sure that you present at least 15 minutes early before the arrival time. But if you are dealing with the international flight, for example, who comes to the international terminal, for example, so you can have additional an hour as their time, yeah, because they are going to be dealing with a lot of immigration documents, and it's not going to be easy for them. Yeah. All right, I'm so sorry. There are some mistakes here. So let's continue our discussion, which is going to be picking up at the airport. So first thing that you need to have is make sure that you present at least 15 minutes early before the arrival time. So just like what I've told you previously, if you are dealing with the domestic arrival, it's going to be easy for you to notice because you only have 15 minutes spare time. Meanwhile, if you are dealing with the international arrival, especially in international terminal, so you still have 1 hour spare time. So it's going to be easier for you to relax a little bit, especially because there are going to be 1 hour, an hour spare time. Next, make sure that you check the arrival time on the flight information board or website. So therefore, you are not going to wait long, or maybe you miss the flight already. For example, some flights are scheduled to arrive earlier, but some um, scheduled to be arrived late, for example. So, and it is as a liaison officer, you need to check it regularly. This is your duty, yeah. And the third one is stand on an easy spot at the arrival gate so that the delegates, the participants can recognize you very well. And remember to show your signboard. Okay, don't play with it because if you play with it, you may miss the delegates or the participants. So there are going to be some problems if you miss them. Yeah, maybe they can complain to the committee, and of course the committee will call you back. So what you need to express or what you need to say when picking up some of the delegates or participants at the airport. First, you need to have greeting. Of course, it is a must. Yeah, it is a must for everybody. So you can say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends on the time, and then followed by welcome to Bali. And afterward, you can have some small talks. For example, like I'm hoping that you enjoy your flight, or maybe how was your flight, or is this your first time to come to Bali? So you can have a little small talk for your introductions, so that the delegates or the participant will see you as a humble and professional one. Then, after having a greeting, you need to introduce yourself. So, my name is, or I am, for example, my name is Nova. I'm the representative of the Minister of Women Empowerment, for example. and I will assist you during the event. So make sure you know who recruits you. Make sure you know who hire you. Because for some committee or some organizations, they will require you to be representative of their organizations. Based on my experience, um, I recognize myself, I acknowledge myself, I introduce myself as the representative of Basarnas before the National Team Rescue. So I don't introduce myself as a lecturer. I don't introduce myself as Malali Mais, but I introduce myself as the National Team Rescue of Indonesia. So therefore, because it is requested by the committee for doing so. So make sure you have a good cooperative work. Make sure you have a good coordinations with the committee so that there will be no misunderstandings. Then remember to assist your delegates or participants. So you need to be humble and helpful at the same time. Yeah. So you may ask, may I carry your luggage? Or if you don't mind, let me carry the luggage for you. Or please let me carry your luggage. Because you are a liaison officer and you are just like their assistants. And remember, if they are in group, don't take everyone's luggage, okay? There are going to be a bunch of energy that you need to spend, but you can take the ladies or the oldest member of the group, yeah. And last but not least is escorting the delegates to the shuttle. So remember, because you are becoming a liaison officer, you are not only taking them to the airport, but also you need to show the way and also escort them to the shuttle. So you can say the shuttle is ready, if it is really ready, or if the car is not in the parking lot yet, so you can say, I will call the driver to pick up at the arrival port. Or maybe if the shuttle is going to be late, for example, there are some traffic jam, for example, you may say the car will be ready in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It is depends on your estimations. Is it okay for you? So make sure that you make them okay by talking, by having some small talks, or by doing some, yeah, a friendly manner, okay? And then if the shuttle is ready, you need to say, please follow me or this way. It's going to be easy for you if you practice it in real life. Now, so when you are dealing with the shuttle, so when you have already arrived in front of the car or in front of the shuttle or in front of the bus, open the vehicle door for the delegates. It is a sign of sincerity and giving excellent service to our delegates or participants. They are going to be delighted to be served that way. Second, remember to assist the luggage storage in the vehicles, because of course they are not going to pick the luggage by themselves into the car, so therefore you need to assist them. And close the vehicle's door for the delegates. And please kindly notice, it is very important point, because if you are requested to stick with the delegates, get on the car. So some delegates, some participants do not like having the liaison officer at the same car with them. So if you are not requested or you are not asked to be in the same car with them, do not doing so. Maybe they need some private. Maybe they need to relax or they need to take a rest during the journey, yeah? During the time before arriving at the hotel. So therefore, it depends on the situations. Okay, if you are requested to get on the car, get on the car directly. Do not say no. So that's the thing that you need to do. So I hope that you understand about picking up at the airport. So starting from checking the arrival, greeting them, introducing ourselves, until escorting them into the bus shuttles. Next, the second point is having a small talk. Having a small talk is very good indeed, especially because you are going to be with them for a few days. Yeah. So having small talk will build your connections and also will build your relationships with the delegates or the participants. So what is small talks actually? So talking about the small talk, it is just like talking with a small or simple topics, which is not going to be leading to a debate, for example. And sometimes small talks are also include some personal matters, especially talking about the experience. Yeah. So talking about the small talk, there are some topics that may be good for you to ask, or may be good for you to talk with the delegates or the participants. For example, is this your first time here? So maybe they will say, oh yeah, this is my first time. And then you can ask, okay, which country have you been? You are going to have another follow-up questions, and it is going to be good for you to maintain the relationship with the delegates. Or maybe you can ask like, oh, what do you think of this island? Do you think it is quite hot here? And then how long will you stay here? Yeah, it is very important for you, yeah, to notice about how long will you stay here, because you are going to be their liaison officer. And do you like tropical place, or is how is your country? So it is going to lead you to talking about some comparison about your country, and make sure that becoming a liaison officer, you need to be knowledgeable not only about your country, not only about Bali, not only about Indonesia, but also about the representative's country. So therefore, you can have a good cross-culture understanding. You can have a good manner in front of our delegates or participants. So there are two important points that you notice. Yeah, you need to notice. The first one is make sure that the talk is light and neutral. Yeah, the talk is light, which means that the topic that you take, or the topic that you talk or discuss with the delegates, is not going to make them think, yeah, think hard, or maybe got headache, for example. Just asking about their experience, or maybe asking about their opinions about something around you, or maybe during the journey, for example, you can talk about Bali, for example. If the delegates, if the shuttle especially past the Tol Bali Mandara, for example, you can provide some information related to Bali Mandara tolls, or maybe you can point at Garuda Wisnu Kencana statue, so that you can explain a little bit about Garuda Wisnu Kencana statue. And the second one, you need to be informative. Yeah. So just like registration officer, a liaison officer also need to understand about the whole schedule, the whole venue, the whole rundowns of the event, because you are going to be the messenger. You are going to be the bridge between the committee and also the delegates or the participants. So therefore, make sure you are informative enough. Make sure that you have already mastered the whole information needed or required to fulfill the candidates or delegates needs. Last but not least is checking in at the hotel. Yeah, so if you're becoming a liaison officer, sometimes the delegates will request or require you to check them in at the hotel. So make sure that you need to be ready. Yeah? You need to know about how to check in the hotel. Let's figure it out. Yeah. So it is only done if it is requested. If it is not requested, just let them at the lobby. It's fine. Okay. And sometimes some committee will request you to do the check-in, especially for VIP or VVIP delegations. So before you do the check-in process, make sure that you have already known about the booking details, yeah, the hotel booking details. For example, like the hotel's name, the check-in time, the room types, and also the number of room, or the number of people who is going to be checked in at the hotel. The second one is the delegate identification. So at least you need to have a copy of their passport or visa. So it is going to be easy for you to deal with the administrations required at the hotels. So you need to know about their citizenship, you need to know their complete names, you need to know their passport number, and also sometimes the hotel also require some, what's it called, a deposit money. Yeah, you need to also to ask for it for to the delegates or the participants. And as a practice, I would like you to read some hotel check-in conversations. So please kindly access the https://bit.ly/ete_lo_hc and make sure that you read it, you practice, and at the end of the class, I will require you to make another video. So you are going to work in pair. Yeah, you are going to work in pair. One is going to be the receptionist of the hotel, and one is going to be the liaison officer. Okay, and I would like you to make the video at campus. Make sure that you do it before the class time ends. All right. And if you have any question, please kindly do not hesitate to send me WhatsApp or send me a text. All right. I think that's all for now. Thank you very much. And I think I will end the video one more time. I'm so sorry that I cannot attend the class, but hopefully next week I can attend the class and you are ready to become the registrations officers for an event. Okay. See you next week. Bye.